This is Boddington Reservoir, and I don't mind admitting that this is completely out of my comfort zone. Now today's video and the few videos that are going to follow this are all about getting out of my comfort zone and doing something that I don't normally do. So I've come to Boddington today for a practice session. I'm going to try and get to grips with this place and then hopefully follow it up with some matches, some live matches on this very venue. It's totally out of my comfort zone. I'm normally a pole angler. Obviously do a bit of online fishing, but nothing like this. I'm so excited to get going. I've done my research at home. I spoke to some friends who fish here. Can't wait to get going. Totally out of my comfort zone, but I can't wait to get going. Okay, so as I alluded to in the intro, we're at Boddington Reservoir, and one of the main criticisms I get is that I always fish the same sort of venues. Now, in truth, a lot of my fishing revolves around my childcare situation, so I've got to get drop the kids off in the morning and then I've got to pick them up at night, so I'm quite limited to how far I can travel because all my fishing is done in the week, so I'm quite limited to how far I can travel. Now I don't want to bore you with that, but it's just the truth, so I can't go that far. But Boddington is actually only half an hour from my house, or certainly 35 minutes, and they run some midweek matches here in the winter, and I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna take myself totally out of my comfort zone and throw myself into this. Now, I fished here loads. I've been here like pleasure fishing, I've been here tackle testing when I used to be on the magazines. I've been here with some great anglers as well, doing features and videos and stuff. So I'm really excited about today. And I'm excited about the challenge. Now, it's not going to be easy. This venue gets notoriously difficult when it gets cold. It's probably going to be all right today. We're still in October. It's ever so mild today. In fact, I've got a bit of a sweat on after that long walk. But it's just a different challenge, and I really fancy it. I'm terrible at patience fishing, like it's my worst, it's my fault. I'm terrible at it, and here you can be waiting 40-45 minutes for a bite. You might only get 1 or 2 bites in the whole match, so it's totally alien to how I fish. We're fishing with big rods, we've got different tackle, we're using bait additives, we're using different baits, we're using big hooks, we're using different feeders to what I'd normally use. And I'm really excited about doing something totally different, so hopefully you're going to join me on a really good journey. Like I say, I'm going to try and get on 2 or 3 of these matches, certainly before Christmas, and I'll bring you all the action. So, but today is all about practicing. I just want to find out whether my kit's up to the job, whether my feeders are right, whether my bait's right. Just a few ideas that will hopefully hold me in good stead going forward to these matches. They're not the biggest of matches in the world or anything like that, but that's not the point. It's all about taking myself out of their comfort zone and doing something that just is totally alien to me. So let's have a look at the bait, what we've prepared, and then we'll get some fishing done. Now I'm fortunate I know some friends that come here and some really good anglers, and to say the least. And a lot of them, the first thing they said was obviously it's all like hybrid fishing or banjo fishing, bit of method. In the early matches before Christmas there might be some fish on a short range, there might even be some fish on a PVA bag. So, but fundamentally it's all about that hybrid feeder fishing that ranges from, like I said at the moment they're catching quite short, but from 60 metres out. I mean, I'm not a big guy, so I don't know how far I'm going to be able to cast. We'll find that out later. But certainly from 60 metres out. And one of the things that everyone I spoke to, bait is a big thing here. By that I mean you're chucking like a small feeder, essentially, out into a massive ocean like this. And you're trying to have maximum attraction around that feeder. So you're trying to, your little pile of bait has got to have a lot of bang for its buck, if that makes sense. Now I tried to do some digging on what additives and stuff people are using, and information was quite scarce, funnily enough, so I've just gone with what I think could be good. Now I know from previous trips here when I've done filming and whatnot that they quite like sweet things here. Now if you may remember on the Nufish channel we did a bait additive one down there last winter, and I used Bovril, and I think Bovril's a great additive, I really do, and liver and things like that, but I really want to try this sweet thing today. I've been told by 2 different people who I really respect that sweet is the way to go on this venue, so I can't look at that gift horse in the mouth. So I've got a few different options. Now first I've just got some plain pellets, because I'm going to start on plain pellets. Now that's a mix of 3 different pellets. Now there's Coppens, Screttins, and then some Prima Trax pellets in there. Now the Coppens are quite sticky and will hopefully bind the lot together, but I prefer the bulk to be like Screttin type pellets, so I've got a bit of mix of the 3 in there, which like I say will hopefully bind onto that feeder nicely. I've got some of the same pellets that I've mixed some boilie crumb in, that I've loaded with flavour, like a sweet flavour, and they smell great, and I think they're going to be the ones that do the damage. Now one thing that I wanted to try is 4 mils around the feeder. Now, there can be no denying the effectiveness of 4 mils around the method feeder these days. On these venues where big carp roll, feeding like coppens around the method can be really effective. So I've done some of them. Now all I did with them, they're 4 mil coppens. I actually got them from Packington last week, but they're 4 mil coppens. I just covered them in boiling water for 2 minutes, drained off the water, put them in a Tupperware and just left them overnight. They come out nice and dry, and then I've just put a wet hand through them and stirred them around, and they've gone nice and tacky again. So I think that they could be really good. I haven't put any bait additive in there. I've put no crumb in there or anything like that, but I could do. I've got plenty spare. And then I've also got some ground bait. Now, I don't know if anyone uses ground bait here. They must do, I'm sure. But I just fancy trying it. It's probably a nonsense, but I've mixed it with pure flavour. I've not put any water in it. I've just put liquid flavour in, and that smells incredibly strong, really sweet. And it's like a coarse, I've used like coarse carp pellets in there. It's a mix that Blake's do. It's just the coarse pellets that are ground up really like coarsely. And I think that if I'm looking just to put pure flavour into the swim and no feed, that could be really good. So you never know, might be worth a chuck. It's really difficult because obviously in matches you're not getting many bites, so it's hard to actually work out what's going to work and what isn't. So you need a day like today where hopefully we're going to get a few pulls, and hopefully we can learn a few things, like time a few bites, see what gets our bites quicker. So that's what I've got for the options. I've got plain pellets, flavoured pellets, 4 mils, and then ground bait. And then I've got wafters in various colours. You can't ignore pink these days because all these underwater films keep telling us that pink's amazing. I've got some yellow ones that I've put some pango goo on. I don't like wafters, but this is a venue where wafters score, so I've got to get my head around using them. I've got my trusty pepper army, which I could not go without. I've got some hard pellets in case I want to chuck a PVA bag out, and I've also got some salted caramel bait booster should I want to dip a PVA bag in there, which I don't even know if I'm going to try the PVA bag today, but I've got it ready just in case. But I'm going to start on like a 60 metre line, which I think is going to be nice. Yeah, so let's get out there. Let's get chucked in. We're going to start with plain pellets, a nice pink wafter, like a standard start, and let's see if we can get a bite or two, because I have not got a clue. In all honesty, I'm just literally working my way through this session, and hopefully we can catch some beautiful carp, because there's some lovely carp in here. They go up to £30 now, so you never know. So let's get on the box, let's cast in, and then we can chat about the kit and everything while we're waiting for our first pull. Now, what am I going to start on? Pink, I suppose. Everyone's pink mad, aren't they, these days? In fact, I'm going to use pink with a fleck of white in it, because why wouldn't I? Now, one problem with so new wafters is they're very hard, so I have to like needle them out first. Now, I've got a size 10 T360 hook, which is a camisand hook, which is like a circle sort of pattern. Looks nice. Now I'm going to start on a 45 gram banjo feeder. Now I'm going to go in with the plain pellets to start with, like I say, just as a baseline. As I'm not chucked out yet, but this will give us a good indication. Now I'm going to put a firm layer in, and I'm going to put a skinny layer in on top. So this is no flavour, no nothing, just plain pellets. Because how can I work out whether the additives are getting me quicker bites unless I have an idea of how long it takes to get a bite on plain normal stuff. So there we go, nice moulded feeder. Let's get it out there, see what happens. Now, one thing that was immediately noticeable there was my feeder really wobbled in the air. I've got quite a short stem on it, which is interesting. I've got 45 gram on, so plenty of weight. I wasn't happy with how that wobbled in the sky, so I'll give it it wasn't It didn't fly as nice as I was expecting. I'm at 63 metres to start with. And it didn't go out there like a bullet anyway. I've got some longer stems. I've even got some of these things to give a go. The flighted stems, which when I was at Preston, we came and tested them here, and we felt they made a big difference. So I've got them to try, should I feel like I need to. But we'll go with that for now. Let's just try and get a baseline. I've chucked it in. Let's start a stopwatch. Stopwatch. Start. Let's see if we even get a bite. I don't think the range is a problem today because there's a few anglers to my right, but pretty much on our own. So, although I want to chuck far out later, I also think I could probably chuck short and get bites today. So I'm just trying to work out the kinks in the setup really, more than anything. Right. So I've gone in for the range I'm fishing. Morning. So, kit-wise, it's very hard for me to not... I'm a lover of fishing tackle. Although I'm not a tackle tart, I do like having the tools for the job. And it's very hard for me not to go out and buy the latest distance rod or whatever. However, I do have a set of Distance Masters. I've got a 12.6, I think it's 12, is it 12.6? Yeah, a 12.6 Distance Master. And I've also got a 13-foot 10 Distance Master. So rather than going out and splashing all of my money on rods that I don't need, I'm going to go with these to start with. I'm sure they're going to be absolutely perfect. They're good rods, I know they are. Whether they're capable of getting me out where I need to get to is another thing. Oh, there we go. That didn't take long. 2 minutes. Right. I wasn't expecting that. 2 minute bite to start with on plain pellets and a pink. But I'll take it. Yeah, so whether this is going to be the rod that I end up using, but it's a good start, and I'll tell you what, it feels alright with that one to me. No, this doesn't feel very big. Likewise with the reels, I've had these Shimano's. I think they are Super Ultegra XTDs or something like that. They're not expensive reels at all. It's cost me about 120 quid, I seem to remember. Oh, need to wake up a bit. Yeah, they cost me about 120 quid if I remember rightly. And I've had them for years. And I just kept them in storage for maybe if I needed to come here or do any kind of fishing really. And they're beautiful. I've loaded that up with 5-pound detection, which, I mean, if you're at any kind of tackle site, you'll love how that looks on the reel. That looks great, doesn't it? And then I've got a 10-pound detection shock leader, so really simple. I've gone inline. I've got a lot of faith in inline. Now, I know they all use elasticated here, and I may end up using elasticated, but I always use inline because that's what I'm allowed to use at most places, and I don't like changing. Now, my opinion might change when I'm only going to get 1 or 2 bites in the winter. I might want to make sure I get them in, but I quite like inline, so it's not the end of the world for me. But, like I say, I'm no expert and I'm willing to change, so. I'm not, I'm not writing off elasticated at all. It might be that that's what I end up using. Get them in at all costs kind of thing. But I quite like inline. I like the hooking potential of it. But, I mean, 2 minutes to get a bite. is fantastic. Just see that shock leader. Good fish now. Yeah, rod feels great. It wasn't the best cast actually, that. Oh, it's common. Went in quite heavy, but it's a start. A great start, in fact. Come on, big beauty. Well, we've got a crosswind today, but it's not a strong crosswind, so I need to be hitting that mark. Terrible netting. It's so funny. I've been using like 10-foot rods or something, and then you got, I mean, this isn't even a big rod, but a 12-6 rod and big landing nets, and that just feels horrible. Yeah. Very nice though. Let's get off the mark so quickly, and just on plain pellets. And a bog standard pink wafter with no flavour at all. That's a nice fish. Cracking. Great start. Oh, that's... Oh, you want to see the hook hold on him. The hook hold's magnificent. Right in the bottom lip. Not the biggest of fish, but I couldn't have hooked him any better. That's the best hook hold I'll ever get. I've got an extra special landing net here. Look at that, £8. I'd say. Cracking fish to start with. I can't believe that. Epic. Right. Okay. I think that is quite common. I do think you do get bites quite, you know, you get a chance early on. But I thought I might have to wait a bit longer than that. Anyway, yeah, my landing net's a special Joe special that I've had made for the river. Mick made me it. But it's going to be perfect for these. Let us know in the comments if you're looking for a slightly bigger net, because if you do come to this kind of venue, you probably do want a bit of a bigger net than normal, a bit deeper. Let us know in the comments if it's something you'd be interested in, because they made it for me as a chub net, because often I unhook the fish and then put them in the margins to recover. So I need that extra depth, but it's really handy when you're fishing for like fish like this. Now I'm just going to check my hook's still sharp. Yeah, razor sharp. Nothing wrong with that. And that, might as well go in with the plane again, because oh, I've just seen a carp bosh out there. I tell you what, there's some carp boshing out at like 10 metres today. So we might even catch them on the old underarm later on. Put some ground bait in or something. But I'll probably do that in a different video. Right, let's see if we can cast it out a bit better, because it was great that, but my cast was crap. Distance was alright, but I didn't hit it hard enough and my cast went a bit wobbly. But anyway, we're starting it. Better. Much better. I mean, you can't say better. You can't, I mean, we caught fish, so it can't have been too bad, but stop, reset, start. Yeah, can't be too unhappy with it, but we also want to be trying to improve, don't we? So, and that cast was much better. I hit the cast harder, and yeah, much happy with that, Joe. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, back to the kit. So I've got my Distance Master, got my Shimano reel loaded with £5 detection, £10 shock leader, inline feeders to start with. We'll see on that one, and then I've got various different hook lengths tied up, all on 023 detection. I really like detection. You're not allowed braid here as the hook length material. So I'm wanting to find like a really supple monofilament and detection fits the bill. It's more supple than like a power line, for instance. It's just more supple than that, so I think it could be a really nice hook length line. It's dark, but I don't think that matters. They're like water's chocolate. Oh, no one just boshed out short. Yeah, so I don't think it's good. That's the end of the world, the colour. Exciting, isn't it? And then I've got, like I said, I've got my big rod set up, which is a 13'10". And then I've also got another rod set up with PVA bags in mind. Now, whether I go down that route is another matter. But it has been working so well on other venues. So I can't rule that out yet. Like a nice PVA bag setup. I mean, I don't know how far I'll be able to chuck that out, but we'll maybe try it later. But for now, 1 for 1. On the unflavoured. The only thing I will say is it's nice to have to wait and work our way out a bit, because at the end of the day we don't want it too easy. But it's a great exercise in just working our way through things. It's quite interesting, this, in terms of practicing, because obviously there's no liners, there's no indications. You're literally chucking out and getting a bite, so it's hard to know what works and what doesn't. That's one thing I can't get my head around at the minute. I mean, what kind of duck is that? Answers on the postcard, please. So what is that? I don't even know. I want to feed it though, because it looks quite friendly. There you go, mate. One thing's for sure, if I'm going to come here on a match, I might need 2 flasks. Obviously the fish here see so many pellets. My good friend Stu Polster did say to me that he comes here a lot at this time. He thinks it's still a touch too mild for what we're trying to do here. It'd be better once it's got colder and the fish are not on that pinging line. They're still very much on that pinging line at the moment. And of course, by the time I actually get onto some of these matches, all that'll have stopped, and it's more about the distance sort of element. So, and like I say, you're not allowed to ping on the matches that I'm going to be fishing. So it's interesting. But yeah, the thing that I'm struggling with at the minute to get my head around is the lack of indications. Like when you feed a fish, normally you're chucking out, you're getting signs, you can tell when there's fish in your peg. Here, you don't get that. You only really get a tow round, so how can you work out whether what you're doing is right or not? What's that saying? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight, and that's exactly what's happened today. Now, obviously I'm here just practicing, I'm just trying to get into the swing of things really. Caught that one first chuck, then I've gone 2 hours without one. Now what's happened is, I'm trying to fish negative winter style. I'm fishing method feeders at distance when the fish are still eating, and the lads to my right are having a field day fishing 8 mils, firing them in 11 mils, bomb line, waggler. summer tactics really, and they're having a field, they're having a great day. However, me trying to fish negative winter style just isn't really happening. And to make matters worse, I just got the big rod out because I thought, well, if I'm not going to catch loads of fish, I might as well get the big rod out and practice my casting. Went well first chuck. Sailed out there 85 metres, no problem. Next chuck, almighty crack off, broken tip, lost feeder. So anyway, I've put a new shock leader on, and I'm now fishing with a tip that's broken, but he's stiffer, so it might actually make my casting a bit better. But yeah, it's not the smoothest session so far. Sorry, I've just got moved like that. The one thing that's noticeable is that there's fish close in, so while I've been setting this one up, I just chucked my other rod in close. But yeah, I was really happy with everything, and then I've just let crack off and my confidence has just taken a bit of a hit, but let's get back on it. Let's see if we can make this happen, because I don't actually think we're going to catch a load of fish actually, because I think they're just up where the food's going in up there. Those lads are just having a great time, but like I say, we can work on the things we can work on, and I'm going to get the big bertha back out, and hopefully we can get it out there with no more catastrophes. I don't really know what happened. I just went to unleash one and it just cracked off. Sometimes happens that, doesn't it? But there you go. Probably trying too hard. Like watching a young Phil Ringer, that.
Fish with two.
I need to do it before it gets too cold. I need to do it before it gets too cold.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to slip away again. And I've realised that this reel doesn't click, you know, when the drag's going. Look. So there's fish going round and I'm like, why can't I feel the fish? Fucking drag was like that. Doing well on them. If that's what they're eating, they're doing well on them. Bit of a wallower, isn't it? What's going on with me up length here? Oh. Like that for netting. So there we go. We had the catastrophe with the broken rod and the crack off, but then when I finally got my act together, I caught this beauty. And it wasn't in for long, 15 minutes, and that was on the ground bait, so interesting stuff. So hopefully we'll try and catch another one and not break any more tackle, but yeah, crack a double figure fish probably, 10, 11, 12 pounds, something like that. Beauty. Okay, so this is the setup on the bigger rod, and I've gone for that 4.2 metre Distance Master, same reel, £5 detection, £10 shot leader, so nothing changed, but interestingly I've gone for one of these little get off, one of these, the old dart feeder. Now, I was at Preston when we developed these, and they very much came from the European scene. The lads in Hungary and Poland and countries like that were using method feeders at long range for big carp, so they're actually trying to target, you know, 20-pound carp. And they were convinced that adding stems to your feed had made a big difference, so Preston developed these. And in testing, me and Lee were going out and chucking these out and found they made a big difference. And I've since spoke to some people like Phil Ringer and stuff, and he's seen them in use on the Freestyle World Champs. Not necessarily the Preston one, but you know, ones that people have made themselves, and the long stem seems to make a big difference. So I've put that on. I've got a 60 gram feeder on, and this setup's really for chucking 70 metres plus up to, well, as far as I can cast it really, which I fished at 100 metres before, but I'm only small. I haven't been to the gym since that day, and I don't think I could get much past 100 metres. I think the lads who do that are much bigger than I am, so I've kind of got to try and make it easy for myself. So I think I can fish up to 100 metres with this setup, which is probably my limit. You've got to know where your limit is, haven't you? And I'd rather fish 80 to 90 metres well than 100 plus badly. So this setup does allow me to get out there, all being well, But yeah, so that's what I've gone for. Got the distance XL flighted stem, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, hopefully that'll get us out to that mark. Okay, so probably on my last chuck of the day. And it's been a great exercise, this has. Fishing hasn't been amazing, to be fair. It's just too warm. The fish, they're all at 15 metres. And I feel like if I'd have just loose fed 8 mils, I'd have caught an absolute boatload here today. But that's not why we've been here. We've been trying to put the hard miles in, ready for the upcoming matches. And yeah, feeling pretty good. Like the fishing with the shorter rod felt quite nice. Obviously I had that crack off, but these things happen. And I'm all the way out to 95 metres now, which is still it's not a monster cast by any means, but for me, I'm only little. It's a big cast, and it's going out there nice. I feel like that longer stem with the with that sort of 60 gram feeder is a nice combination. It's getting out there nice. And yeah, I'm happy with my bait. I've caught one on ground bait, one on micros. Yeah, I'm happy. It's been a good short session. Ironed a few things out. I've got a better idea now of how to approach things. I think for the next few weeks, if it stays mild like this, we're going to have to think about putting a bait up rod in the bag, and probably baiting it with some 8mm pellets short, because it's obvious that the feeding fish are close in. You know, the lads behind me who are fishing pellet waggler and bombs and stuff are having a great day, so it tells you everything. The fish they're on that line at the moment, so it's been a brilliant exercise. Like I say, the next time you see me here, it will be on a live match, so hopefully you'll stick around to see that. But yeah, I'm really enjoyed it. It's been totally different. Like I say, we've had one catastrophe, but you'll allow me that, I'm sure. And other than that, it's gone quite smooth, and I'm happy. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. We've got a couple of really nice fish for you to see, and we'll hopefully next time we'll be in a match, and hopefully we can turn the practice into a respectable result, and on a venue that is a bit alien to me. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you again on the next video.